Hello, you are welcome. In our last class, we discussed about 80-20 principle of wealth creation, part 1. Now we are going into part 2. Okay? In this episode, I'm going to show you some key elements that a lot of people, especially in Nigeria and in the world, that are using. You will see a real life example of how people have used this principle to make money from you, from me, and all of us. So I want you to get ready. Now, the first thing you should understand is that 80% of your earnings come from 20% of your business activities. So what does that mean? What it means is that you need to identify that 20% of business activities that generates you that 80% of revenue. As a result, you put more of your effort, more of your attention, more of your resources, more of your staff into that 20% of business activities. Okay? The next is that 80% of your referral come from 20% of your loyal customers. So it means you have to identify those 20% of loyal customers that can give you that 80% of referral, so that you give them more attention, you give them more energy. It doesn't mean that the other 20%, the other 80% of loyal of customers that are not giving you much referral, you are going to leave them. No, you need them for business visibility, you need them for other things, but then you have to give more attention to the 80 and 20%. Then 80% of your views of, let's say, YouTube content creators, Facebook content creators, TikTok content creators, 80% of your views come from 20% of your top contents. So what does that mean? What it means is that you need to identify those contents that are generating those views. It means your audience are interested in that particular kind of content. In fact, even this video you are seeing right now, it's a test to see the nature of content that you, my audience, my followers, needed, so that I can continue to create in this area. You get it? So that is how it is. That is why you see a particular creator, they will start out, they'll try different things, different niches, different ideas. But when they get that particular content that generates the maximum result, the maximum view, the maximum clicks, the maximum share, they will start producing more content in that area, and they will start repurposing that same content using different strategies for you to get more benefit and a view for them. Right? So let's take a global look, right? A global look of some of the top businesses that you know and I know. The first one is Dangote. Dangote realized that most of his revenues are coming from production. And inside production, most of his revenue, which is the 80% of his revenue, are coming from 20% of his activities, of his production, which is cement and sugar. It is the reason why Dangote has noodles, he has this, he has a lot of, but sugar and cement, they are the major source of income for Dangote. So he put all his effort in sugar production, a lot of his effort in cement production. It is the reason why you can see that in Nigeria, and I don't know of other African countries, almost all competitors in these two categories, Dangote wiped them out. Why? Because he knew that these are the 20% of business that is generating him 80% of his revenue, so he focused on this one. It doesn't mean that he's not producing other things, no, but then his staffs, his efforts are more focused in this area, right? The next thing is Nigerian banks. Nigerian banks knew that 20% of their revenue, 80% of their revenue come from 20% of their customers. These customers, they identify them to be corporate customers, high net individuals. These high net individuals, you see that Nigerian banks, they used to give them gifts. They will invite them for events. They will visit them when they have birthdays, when they have events. Everything they will involve them. If there's problem, they'll call them. They wouldn't wait for them to hear anything from somewhere. They'll call them. And that is high net individual and corporate individual. These are the people that are generating the more revenue. Me and you is just kobo. but will make more noise, right? If there is a problem in bank, you see a lot of people will be shouting on the internet, a lot of people will go to bank and be making noise. These are kobo small people. The big people that are contributing to that bank, they will make call. Why? Because they are the 20% of the individuals that generate 80% of revenue for that bank. So that is how it goes. Then if you go into all these microfinance banks, right, most of them, you see that they are always promoting loans, all this payday loan, whatever, because this is where the majority of their earnings coming from. So they put a lot of their attention in these places. Then if you go to Innocent Cars, right? Innocent do a lot of other things, right? But automobile is their major source of income. And in the automobile, they realize that in Nigeria and Africa, people are not ready to continue to start using their cars. So they go after corporate individuals, companies that will buy in bulk, and they will tell them that, okay, we can offer you 15 years of this thing. If the cars have problem, in 15 years we'll continue to fix it until it's 15 years. So they go after these people. They don't, you wouldn't see them advertise their car anyhow. They go after high net individual, corporate companies, organizations that buy their product. The next is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett knew that 80% of his revenue come from 20% of his investment, and those investments are American Express, Coca-Cola, and Apple, and that is where Warren Buffett focuses all this larger percent of his time on, right? Then the next thing is Apple itself. Apple itself knew that 80% of their revenue come from 20% of their products, which is their Mac, their iPhone, their iPad. Apple also produce watch, they produce bag, they produce purse, they produce all other things. But what they put forward, they projected forward most of the time is their Mac, Apple, and iPad, because 80% of their revenue are coming from these areas. Business is not something that you just assume, right? There is principles, and that is what these people are following. What is next? The next is Amazon. Amazon is like an e-commerce platform, but they knew that majority 80% of their revenue come from AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. And you will see that they always advertise, they always focus their attention on this AWS. So now that you have watched this video and you are interested and you are happy, why don't you share this video? Why don't you hit the subscribe button and follow and subscribe to my channel, or follow my page on YouTube, on TikTok, or whatever platform? In the next video, I'm going to discuss about the reverse pattern of how Nigerians rubbish this 80-20 principle and how it is causing a damaging effect in the business. You will find yourself that you have made one terrible mistake that has made your business not successful. In the next video I'm going to discuss about that. See you in the next video.